Hey everyone, what's going on? Today I'm going to make a video for those of you that are still using Western Union or any other traditional remittance service to send money to Mexico. And what I want to show is that you can get significant savings by using cryptocurrencies to send that money instead of using those other traditional remittance services that a lot of times end up price gouging people in our community. So what I'll do to make sure that I show all the steps is I'm going to start from the very beginning, show this entire end-to-end process to make it as clear as possible how the movement of funds works. Now, before we begin, I also want to say that this is not financial advice. Always make sure to do your own research when it comes to any financial decisions that you make. Okay, so as you can see here on the screen, I have the institutions that we're going to be interacting with in order to do this process. And on the US side, we're going to need an account with a bank as well as an account with a cryptocurrency exchange that operates in the US. In Mexico, it's going to be the same thing. We're going to need an account with a cryptocurrency exchange that operates in Mexico as well as a bank account. So I already have an account with Binance, so I'm going to be using that account. But for those of you that are a little more knowledgeable in this space, feel free to use Coinbase or Gemini or any other exchange that you're comfortable with. And in Mexico, Bitso is the one exchange that I am familiar with, and I actually helped a cousin open up an account a few weeks ago, so I'll be using that exchange. So on this screen, you can see the steps that I'm going to take. First, I'm going to show how to take US dollars from the bank in the US and send them to the cryptocurrency exchange. And then once the funds are in the cryptocurrency exchange in Binance, we're going to take those US dollars and convert them for a cryptocurrency. And then we'll take that cryptocurrency and send it over to the exchange in Mexico. And once the funds are there, we're going to take those funds, or we're going to take that cryptocurrency and exchange it for Mexican pesos. And finally, we'll take those pesos and deposit them to the bank account in Mexico. So in this example, I'll be sending $500. And in the end, I'm going to compare the amount that is sent for deposit to the bank in Mexico versus the amount that would have been received had I used Western Union. And I'll use this handy price estimator from Western Union to calculate those amounts. As you can see here, I've entered $495 because they do have a $5 flat fee. So that ends up being a total transfer of $500. And the total that the recipient in Mexico would be receiving is $9,954. Now, when it comes to Western Union, I think most people are aware of how high their fees can be. And sometimes even when you go into those agents inside of the supermarkets, they tack on their fees on top of whatever Western Union is charging. So sending $300 or $500 or $1,000, it ends up being very costly because of all those fees. But in addition to that, I don't think many people pay attention to how much money is actually lost in the exchange rate. So as you can see here, for $1, Western Union is giving 20.1079 pesos. But if we compare that to the market rate of how many pesos you get for $1, you can see that it's 20.67 pesos for $1. So 20.67 versus 20.1079. That means that for every single dollar that you send using Western Union, you're losing about a little bit more than half a peso. So if someone is sending $1,000, they're losing around 500 pesos, which comes out to about $25. So that's $25 plus this $5 transfer fee. That's already $30 right there. Now, if you're sending less, then you lose less in the exchange. But if you're sending more, then you're losing even more. So we're going to compare the amount that I send, which is $500. Western Union here versus how much money we get by sending it using the cryptocurrency. All right, so to get started, the first thing that we're going to do is head over to Binance and open up an account with them. So head over to Google and type in Binance US. Make sure it's Binance US because they also have an exchange for non-US citizens. It's just called Binance. So go ahead and type it into Google, press enter. It should be the first search result. But whenever you're typing addresses in Google, make sure that you always check the URL, www.binanceus. That's the one that you want. It's the first one, but you always want to double check. Go ahead and click on it. So that should bring you to the Binance homepage. And again, the URL is binance.us. You can go ahead and click on Get Started, which will take you to this page where you can enter your email, password, and then go ahead and click on this box that says, yes, I am 18 years old and I agree to the Binance US terms of use. Then go ahead and click on Create Account. Now, since I already have an account with them, so I won't be able to show step-by-step how to register, but I did find this page that shows you the steps that you're going to need to follow. So step 1 will be register your account using your email and password of your choice. Verify your email address, secure your account, enter the authentication code. So they'll ask for a phone number, then they'll send you an authentication code, and then you enter that authentication code to verify the number. And then they'll ask you for some information to verify your identity, things like confirming your address, your name, and they'll ask for other information. Really no different than any other company these days that wants to verify your identity. They're going to ask for the same amount of information. So go ahead and try to get your account verified, because there are limits on how much money can be sent, withdrawn, and so forth if the account is not fully verified yet. So if you verify it, you should be fine. Okay, so once you register and you log into Binance, this is the page that you will see. On the top, you'll see a menu bar with a few options. One of them is Wallet. Go ahead and click on it and you'll see a drop-down show up. Click on Balance. And you're going to see this page here where it shows you your balance in USD as well as other cryptos that you hold. And on this page, we want to go ahead and deposit funds to our account here in Binance. So what we're going to have to do is link our bank account to Binance first. So go ahead and here under USD all the way on the right, there's a link to deposit. Go ahead and click on that link and it'll bring you to this page. So here on the left hand side, it shows you your US dollar, total balance is 0. On the right hand side has a box where you can enter the amount that you want to deposit. So I'll enter $500. And then here where it says deposit from, there's a arrow pointing down. Click on it and go ahead and click on add payment method. And that'll bring you to this screen here. As you can see, I don't have any linked accounts at the moment. So go ahead and click on this yellow button that says add a new account. And that'll bring you to this page. So there's different ways that you can fund your account in Binance. You can use a domestic wire, a debit card, or ACH. Debit card and domestic wire, those have fees associated with them. So in this case, we're trying to save money, so we'll go ahead and use the ACH fee. Now just keep in mind that using ACH, it usually takes about a day or two for the funds to move. And in my experience, it's actually taken more than a few days for the funds to get to Binance. So just take that into account so that you factor that in, because if you're trying to send money the very same day and you're also trying to set up your account with Binance on that day, you're probably not going to be able to do it. You need to set up the account ahead of time and fund it so that the funds are there, so that you know ahead of time how much you have, and then you can just go ahead and send the money. So go ahead and click on ACH, and you'll get this pop-up here that says Binance.us uses Plaid to link your account. Go ahead and continue. Here you'll get a list of banks, and you're able to filter based on your banks. So in my case, I'm going to enter Ally Bank. Click on it. And then this is not a home loan, just a regular account. And it'll bring you to this screen where you'll be able to enter your username and password. So just follow the steps. From here on, you'll likely have to confirm your identity. They'll send you possibly a text message. If you have a phone registered with your bank account, they'll send you a code. Then you'll enter and you verify. And once you link your account, once you go through that process, your account will be linked. Now, if for whatever reason your bank doesn't show up when you type it in here, so let's just say there's no bank that comes up in the search result, you'll see an option here that says link with account numbers. You can click on that, and this tells you how this is going to work. You're going to enter your account info, so account number, routing number, and so forth. And then what Binance is going to do is they'll send 2 small deposits to your bank account, which will show up after a few days. And once you get those 2 deposits, you come back to Binance and enter those amounts, and then they'll verify that you do own the bank account, and then they'll link it. All right, so once the account is linked and the funds have been deposited, if you come back to your wallet to this page here, you'll see that USD, now it says that I have $500 in the bank account that I can go ahead and use to purchase cryptocurrencies. Okay, so now that we're ready to buy a cryptocurrency, we have to decide which one we're going to use. So a lot of you out there may be familiar with Bitcoin, but I'm actually not going to use Bitcoin for this example. And the reason being is because the fees for Bitcoin are actually a little bit too high for this. In some cases, you'll still end up saving money over Western Union, but there's cheaper alternatives because the exchange in Mexico, Bitso, also supports other cryptocurrencies that have a lower transaction cost. At this point, there's thousands of cryptocurrencies. Some of them are a bit more popular than others. And so the one that I'm going to be using is called Litecoin, which is an alternative to Bitcoin. Is similar in a lot of ways, but it has small differences that make it so that the fees are lower. So let me go ahead and compare the fees first between Bitcoin and Litecoin so you can see that. So this is the withdrawal page for Bitcoin. Let's just say that I were to purchase Bitcoin and then try to send the Bitcoin over to the exchange in Mexico. Then this page is telling me that they would charge me 0.0005 Bitcoin just to send my Bitcoin from Binance to Bitso. Now that may not seem like a lot, but if we consider the current Bitcoin price of $35,734, that ends up coming out to about $18 just to send the Bitcoin. So again, that's sometimes still cheaper than Western Union, but there's cheaper options. So let me go back here and show you the fee for Litecoin. This is the page to withdraw Litecoin. And down here, it tells me that if I want to withdraw Litecoin, it's 0.001 Litecoin to send it from Binance to Bitso. So if I come over here and look at the price of Litecoin, it's 155, so significantly lower than Bitcoin, which means that at 0.001, I'm looking at 15.5 cents to send Litecoin from Binance to Bitso. So as of now, there's just no comparison. If the exchange in Mexico supports Litecoin and Binance supports Litecoin, then use Litecoin. Even if you don't agree that alternative currencies are as good or as valuable as Bitcoin, or however you feel about Bitcoin, in this case, it just makes sense to use Litecoin because that's what's going to give you the most savings. Now, this won't always be the case. This industry is constantly changing, and there's what are called layer 2 solutions that are being built on top of Bitcoin, such as the Lightning Network, which will make it a lot less expensive to send Bitcoin from one exchange to another. At the moment, the Lightning Network is not fully supported by most exchanges. But as exchanges start supporting it in the future, you will see these fees for Bitcoin drop dramatically, and which is a good thing because then people can use Bitcoin instead of these other cryptocurrencies that in the long term may be a little bit more volatile. So just keep that in mind. Now, also, these fees vary from exchange to exchange or from wallet to wallet. So the fees that I'm showing here are just the fees with Binance, but they might be slightly different with Coinbase or Gemini. Or if you're a little bit more savvy with the cryptocurrencies, you may even have Bitcoin or other currencies in your own wallets. And in that case, you may be able to set your own fee if you have your own wallet. But for this example, we're going with Binance, and 15.5 cents is pretty good. So let's go back to the Litecoin withdraw page here. And what you want to do is go back to wallet and then click on balance. That'll bring you back to this page where it shows you that your balance is now $500. And down here where it says USD, you have $500 available to purchase a cryptocurrency. So right here on the top left, there's a search field. Go ahead and click on it and type in Litecoin. And you'll see down here, it'll show you Litecoin in the bottom. So at the moment I have zero balance. On the right hand side, there's a trade button. Go ahead and click on it. And it'll give you a pop-up. And go ahead and click on Litecoin/USD because we're going to use US dollars to purchase Litecoin. So it's going to bring you to this page. Go ahead and scroll to the bottom. And on the left hand side, you'll see a box that says buy Litecoin. On the right hand side, there's another one that says sell Litecoin. So in this case, we're buying Litecoin using our US dollars. And you'll see 3 tabs in this box. One that says limit, the other one says market, and then the other one is stop limit. So for this example, both limit and stop limit are not relevant, so we're not going to discuss them. Just go ahead and make sure that you click on market. And so right here, it shows you that you have 500 USD, and it gives you the option to allocate 25% of that USD to purchase Litecoin, or 50%, 75%, or 100%. So go ahead and click on 100%. And you'll see that it's showing me that I can get 3.31739 Litecoin using my 500 US dollars. So go ahead and click on buy Litecoin. Once you click on it, you'll see a confirmation box showing you that the trade has gone through. And if you go back to wallet and balance, it'll bring you to this page. Again, right here where it says search coin, type Litecoin. And then you'll see it show up here, down here. Instead of clicking on trade this time, you want to click on withdraw. So that'll bring us again to this page that I showed earlier, but now it shows you that you have 3.317388961 Litecoin. And now we're ready to take this Litecoin and send it to the exchange in Mexico. So before we do anything here, we need to go to the exchange in Mexico, register, and then get the address for Litecoin in the exchange so that we can send it there. It'll be the Litecoin wallet address in Bitso. Okay, so let's go ahead and register now with Bitso. Go to Google and type in Bitso. It should be the first in the list of search results. Now, the reason why I always recommend to type in the name first to Google instead of typing it directly to the address bar is because there's always a likelihood that you make a typo. And there's people out there that will set up websites. They'll set up different combinations to capture all of the possible ways that people can misspell the name by accident. And you'll land on a website that looks identical to the one you're trying to visit. And then you'll enter your information and they can steal that. So it's always, just to play it safe, I always type it into Google and then verify the address here that Google is showing you. And so in this case, once you click on Bitso, it will take you here and you can confirm the address in the address bar that you're at bitso.com. All right, so this is the homepage for Bitso. Now, it's in English for me, but if someone is in Mexico, then it'll show it to them in Spanish. So go ahead and click on Create Account. And then here, don't worry about this. It's saying that they're not operating in the US yet. That's okay. You can just close this box. And then here where it says Country of Residence, you can go ahead and type in Mexico. And enter an email address as well as a password. Create a password and then confirm the password and then click all these boxes to say that you accept their terms and conditions. And then this one that says I'm not a robot. So similar to with Binance, I'm not going to be able to show how to register step by step because an account with Bitso already exists. But I did manage to capture a few screenshots when I was going through this process with one of my cousins. So let me go ahead and show those so you can see what that process is like. This screenshot here shows the general steps required to register with Bitso. They're going to ask for nationality, name, date of birth, sex, occupation, source of funds. Are you a PEP? So that means if you work or if the relative that you're helping set up this account works for the Mexican government, which most of the times it's going to be no. Also the CURP. This is a government ID that's used for tax purposes or whenever you're interacting with any government agency. It's a pretty long number, but fortunately, if your name as well as date of birth is an exact match in their database, then they're going to auto-populate the CURP for you because that's what happened for my cousin when we were typing in his information. So that was nice. And then phone number as well. So once you go through that entire process, then you will have opened up your account with Bitso. Now, the other thing regarding Bitso is very similar to Binance. They'll have certain limits depending on whether or not your account is verified. So in this case, you can see here that it says if your account is not verified, then they have a monthly deposit limit of 4,500 pesos and monthly withdrawal of 4,500 pesos. So for most people that are sending money to Mexico, this is probably not enough because most of the time people are sending a lot more than 4,500 monthly. So in order to increase those limits, whoever is opening up this account in Mexico is going to need to be verified, and then they'll be able to increase the monthly deposit limit for 18,000 pesos and monthly withdrawal limit for 36,000. So this monthly deposit limit is if they're depositing Mexican pesos into the exchange. It shouldn't count money that is sent as a cryptocurrency from Binance to Bitso. In that case, what matters is this limit of 36,000 pesos. So if the person that you're sending money to is fully verified, this is the number that is going to be relevant for them, this 36,000 pesos. And so in order to get fully verified, they're going to need to provide address, official ID, as well as proof of address. All right, so once you've registered and logged in, this is the page that you will see. You can see here on the right, it shows you the cryptocurrencies that Bitso supports, as well as the the balance in Mexican pesos. So here we have Litecoin, which is the one that we're going to use. There's also Bitcoin, Basic Attention Token, Bitcoin Cash, DAI or DAI, Ethereum, Mana, and True USD, which is a stable coin, and XRP. Now, you could actually try to use any of these other currencies as well to send money. I chose Litecoin because I looked at the fees and 15.5 cents is incredibly cheap. So I didn't waste my time looking to see what the fees were for these other currencies. I just compared Litecoin to Bitcoin and decided to use Litecoin. So again, you can play around with it. If you have any of these other cryptocurrencies already and you don't want to exchange them, then you can see what those fees are. So in order to send the Litecoin in Binance to the Litecoin here in Bitso, go ahead and click here on Litecoin. And that'll show you here that'll select Litecoin. It'll show you that the balance is 0. So what you want to do is go ahead and click on deposit. You'll see this pop up here, which shows you the QR code, which you can use, or you can also copy the Litecoin address here. And to copy it, there's 2 boxes down here. If you hover over them, it'll say copy. Go ahead and click on it and that'll copy the address. And then now you're ready to go back to Binance and use this address to send the Litecoin. So we're here back in Binance. Go ahead and click here where it says recipient's LTC address. Click there and then paste. And one other thing is Binance is going to give you an option to select a withdrawal network, and it has BEP2 or Litecoin. Don't worry about BEP2. Just go ahead and leave the default selected, which is this one. It'll be selected for you by default, so you don't have to change anything. And then go ahead and for the amount, instead of typing in the amount, you can go ahead and click here where it says max, and it'll fill in the amount for you. So it's filled in the amount for me, and now I'm ready to go ahead and click submit. Once you click submit, you're going to see this pop up that allows you to enter your Google authentication code or send yourself an SMS authentication. Now, I didn't cover how to set up Google authentication, but that's something that you can do on your own to set up an additional level of security. Or you can go ahead and send yourself an SMS message. So click on whichever option is most convenient for you. If you've registered for the first time, then it's probably easier to go ahead and click on SMS authentication, and then it'll send you a code to your phone that you can then come back here and enter to go ahead and authorize the withdrawal. And once you authorize the withdrawal, you'll likely see this pop up as well that says that you should confirm it using your email. So click on this link here to go to your email and verify the withdrawal request as well. It's just an extra added level of security. And once you click on that email link, you should see this pop up that says withdrawal order submitted. So now it's just a matter of waiting for the funds to go from the Binance wallet to the wallet in Bitso, to the Litecoin wallet. One of the key differences with Litecoin is that the transactions are confirmed every 2.5 minutes instead of with Bitcoin, they're confirmed every 10 minutes. So Litecoin should be faster. And I believe it could take anywhere from 2 to 8 minutes for your funds to be available in the Bitso wallet. Now, in practice, I've seen it take a little bit longer, sometimes about 10 minutes. So just go ahead and give it about 10 minutes and then go ahead and check your balance in Bitso. Okay, so the funds have been received on the Bitso side. You can see here that I have 3.3163891 Litecoin. And then this is what it is. This is the amount in Mexican pesos. Now, if you can see, the difference in Litecoin is 0.0001 because that was the fee that I had to pay to send the Litecoin. If I go back to Binance, back to the portion where we're sending from Binance, it was 3.3173891 38961. So now it's 3.316 because it charged 0.001 Litecoin. Okay, so the next step now is to immediately take this Litecoin and convert it to Mexican pesos. Go ahead and click on convert here. And it's going to bring you to this screen where you have the option to buy Litecoins or sell Litecoins. And in this case, what we want to do is go ahead and sell our Litecoin. So click on that tab, and then here click on this button for maximum, and it'll fill in for you the Litecoin, and it'll tell you approximately how much you're going to receive in Mexican pesos. And this is an approximation because these prices are always fluctuating a little bit. And so when you click on maximum, go ahead and click on sell. And once the transaction goes through, you'll have the amount in Mexican pesos. So this is essentially the final amount that has been received in Mexican pesos. Even though we haven't sent it to the bank yet, to withdraw the money from Bitso to send it to the bank, that transaction is free. So this is really the final amount. Now, if we compare it to the amount that we would have received with Western Union, which is 9,954 versus 10,346, comes out to about 400 pesos, 392. So that's about $20 savings there. And we only sent $500. Now, if we would have sent 1,000, it doesn't mean that we would have saved $40 because there's fees to convert from US dollars to Litecoin, and then there's fees to convert from Litecoin to Mexican pesos. But including those fees, it probably would have been about over $30 in savings. So you send 1,000, you save over $30 in savings. You send 500, it's around $20. So it's still pretty significant savings, especially if you're someone that's sending money every 2 weeks or every month. All right, so let's go over the final step now in order to withdraw these funds and deposit them to the bank account in Mexico. Go back to the main page now, and you can see here that we have now the money in Mexican pesos, and you can go ahead here and click on send. And they'll give you three options: Bitso transfer, SPEI, which is sent to any bank account, or a debit card. You can see here that both SPEI and debit card are free. So I'll go ahead and choose SPEI. Now here, enter your beneficiary information. I've entered Juan Carlos, my cousin's name, for the clave. Go ahead and enter the number. After entering the first 7 digits, it automatically identifies the bank for you, so you don't have to fill that in. And then go ahead and enter the rest of the account number. And then down here for the amount, you see right here you have the option to use the maximum available. Click on that and then press continue. And then the last step will be to confirm the withdrawal information, and then the funds should be on their way. And that's the last step. All right, so now that we've gone through the whole end-to-end process, let's talk a little bit about some of the pros and the cons of using this approach, just to make sure that everyone is fully aware of that, they know the risk. So the first one is, if you remember in the beginning when we were funding the bank account in Binance with US dollars, so using ACH takes 1 to 2 days. In practice, I've seen it take a little bit longer. So if you're someone that wants to send money and you need it to be there the same day or the next day, then this is probably not the method for you if you're registering for the first time, because it's going to take a lot longer to register, to fund the account, and then send it over and then withdraw the funds. You're probably better off just using a traditional method of sending the money. But if you can plan a little bit ahead of time, then you can open up the account, and you can even, if you regularly send money, say like you send it on the 18th or at the end of the month, then you can plan ahead and initiate the ACH deposit a few days ahead of time so that the money can be there. And then when you want to send it, you can just go ahead and send it. It'll get there in a few minutes. And then for the person in Mexico, they'll just need to wait until the funds are deposited to the bank account. The other thing to keep in mind is that there is volatility in the cryptocurrency market, so you are exposing yourself to that. From the time when you use your dollars to buy the cryptocurrency, you saw that it takes up to 10, it could take up to 10 or 15 minutes for the funds to arrive in the Mexican exchange, and then you have to convert them over to pesos. So in that small window, if the price fluctuates, let's say there's a steep drop of 20 or 30% in the cryptocurrencies, then you're going to lose that amount in Mexican pesos. You could also make money because the cryptocurrencies could go up. I mean, normally these crazy price swings happen like all of a sudden, and then you have a period of relative stability where you should be okay. But just keep that in mind, though, that if you do happen to send money during a time when, say, Elon Musk makes an announcement about Bitcoin or about Dogecoin or something negative, and it tanks the market, then there's a chance that your funds could lose some money. And so that's just the risk that you might be exposing yourself to by using this method. But in the long term, though, it should break about even, right? Because in some cases you may lose money, in some cases you may make money. And I actually think that there's actually also even bigger risk in making a little bit more money, because let's say you purchase Litecoin, and then as you're sending it to the exchange in Bitso, it goes up all of a sudden 15% in value before you convert it to Mexican pesos. There's always that temptation to start gambling with that money, to say, oh, what if I just hold it a little bit longer and then wait to see if it goes up 20% or see if it goes up 25%. And, the minute you start doing that, you're essentially gambling with money that you shouldn't be gambling with, because this is money that you're sending to someone in Mexico. So what I would recommend is, as soon as you purchase the cryptocurrency, send the money over to Bitso and exchange it immediately for pesos. It doesn't matter if you're up 5 or 10% or 15%, or if you happen to be down 5% or 10%. Just exchange it. And if you lost a little bit of funds, then that's just the risky nature of sending remittances with crypto. And if you made a little bit of money, then good for the person that you're sending the money to. You managed to send them a little bit of extra money. But all in all, if you just follow that approach, it should even out, because sometimes you'll make some money, sometimes you'll send a little bit extra, and sometimes it'll be a little bit less. So just keep that in mind. This is certainly a little bit riskier than using the traditional methods. I think once the Lightning Network is adopted by more exchanges, and eventually as cryptocurrencies become more stable, then this will definitely be more stable. As most of you are aware by now, El Salvador recently declared that Bitcoin is legal tender. So sending money to El Salvador is even easier, because you don't even have to exchange the Bitcoin for the local currency. And there's a chance that if Mexico goes down that path as well, then they can do it the same way as El Salvador, because in El Salvador, they're currently using the Lightning Network, which has rolled out support for El Salvador. And in that case, people are sending remittances for cents or fractions of a cent, because the Lightning Network allows you to do that. Bitso also has support for Argentina. So if you want to use this approach to send money to Argentina, you can go ahead and follow these steps. And then it should be the same. It's just the difference is that somebody in Argentina will then link Bitso to their bank account in Argentina. So, and there's other ways to withdraw the funds from Bitso. You don't have to send them directly to the bank, but that's just the one that I decided to cover. You can explore and play around with it. And finally, there's a way to reduce the fees that you pay when you convert your US dollars to a cryptocurrency in Binance. And you can do that by purchasing a token called BNB, which is the Binance token. And it says here, if you hold it, it gives you a 25% fee discount. Now, I didn't get into the steps for doing that because I just didn't want to overcomplicate the steps. I wanted to focus on sending the money to Mexico. But once you're a little more comfortable using Binance, you can look up how to save money using Binance, using BNB. And as this page here mentions, when you hold BNB, you can get a 25% fee discount on the exchanging US dollars for the cryptocurrency. All right, so hopefully everyone was able to see end to end, and this made sense to everyone. If you have any questions or any comments, just make sure to leave them down in the comment section, and we'll try to get back to you. But hopefully this works out for those of you. Good luck out there, and hope that you're able to save money from these price gouging remittance services.